What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're taking a look at a title called The Last Plague: Blight. We checked this game out about 3 years ago. It's been a good long time since we touched on this one, and it was in its infancy back then, but you could see some promise. Well, the game is now coming out next month, and so we're going to take a look at the demo that has been updated, and it's running up till the release. You can find that at the description down below, just in case you wanted to get the game for yourself. And we're going to try to figure out with some first impressions whether or not this game is worth your time, or whether or not it's the kind of thing that you want to play. Down below, you can also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream, just in case you wanted to hang out live. That's kind of like one of those things that I do over there that I'm always trying to invite people over for. But let's start a new game, and let's do it. Alright, so day one is here. I feel like since I played the game last, they definitely updated the character model. I remember it being a lot simpler. There's fartgas everywhere. Fantastic. Just what you want to see when you embark upon a new adventure. I think Lewis and Clark wrote about that, in all honesty. We got some dog bane over there. It looks like we're controlling a W, A, S, and D, and it looks like we need to get 10 stones for a fire pit. Alright, we can make that happen. I've been picking up rocks for a long time in video games, man. I'd like to think that my skills have been honed into a rock collecting machine. Let's do it. After a brief run around the neighborhood to try to find my materials, I think we are good to go, so we can make ourselves a camp over here before we strike out and start trying to adventure and figure out what's happening on the map. Our fire pit is listed over here inside the structures, and I was just kind of like marveling at the amount of stuff you can do inside of this game. So first impressions as of right now, having only played the game for 2 or 3 minutes, is that it's much more complex than I thought it was going to be. They've actually got like a little bit of an influence of Life is Feudal, maybe a little bit of like Unreal World inside of here, where it looks like we're going to be building buildings down to like the struts and beams and whatnot. And so this is actually probably going to get a little bit interesting. Let's set up our campfire over here, and it looks like I can just work on that. Oh, looky there, he's placing all the stones. Hell yeah, dude. I've always, like, one of my biggest desires in gaming has always been hoping that someone will make Unreal World with modern graphics and you're able to run around and it's sort of real-time and not turn-based like a roguelike. Because as much as I love Unreal World, dude, I also love real-time gameplay. So now it's sent me out on a hero's quest to chop firewood. Apparently my dad has sent me on a lot of hero's quests over the course of my life, and I never realized it. But let's grab some twigs and things, and we'll see what we can do here. You can hit Alt, and it looks like Alt will toggle your ability to see things on the ground, which is a very helpful utility. I like that because my first thought was that I'm having trouble seeing stuff on the ground, basically. And so the second that little tutorial pop-up was like, hey, you can highlight everything Diablo style just by hitting the Alt key, I was like, oh, thank God, dude, that's the best. So good job, developer. Let's take a look at this tree chopping and see how this goes. Okay, you just click it once. That's why he freaked out like that, is that it has an attachment animation. So you click on the tree right there, and he actually attaches to it, and he starts doing like a pre-designed animation to chop down the tree. I was clicking and holding because that's how you do it in a lot of other games, and so that's why he was freaking out right there, is because I'm guessing it was machine gunning the command to chop down a tree to him. We've got some pine branches over here. We've got some boughs. We've got some nettles. Let me look at my inventory. It looks like we've got ourselves a fun little Tarkov or Diablo inventory right here where you can be all fiddly-diddly with it. That's not what I wanted. Can I rotate this stuff? Doesn't look like I can rotate stuff inside my inventory, but I would like that option, being able to fiddle with things. I love fiddly UIs. I've talked about this before. I love fiddly inventory. Give me more fiddly Diablo Tarkov inventory. Playing inventory Tetris is like almost like a mini game to me. I can't tell you how much it stimulates my dopamine. We've got a log, but we've actually got to carry this back because it's too big to go inside of our backpack. That's a nice little detail. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely getting Unreal World vibes right now, like real-time Unreal World. And it looks like I can chop it now that I've placed it. Let's see what happens when I chop it. Does it become firewood or anything? It does. It becomes firewood. And is firewood pick-upable? It is not. Okay, can I add fuel to right here? I can, so we can just throw that into our campfire, although I'm guessing with realism taken into account, we're going to need some kind of ignition source, whether it be like an Apache match or something like that to get this thing lit back up. If you guys don't know what an Apache match is, you should really try to make one if you're in a survival situation. It's a bundle that lets in just enough air to keep a small ember or coal alive like all day, and you just kind of wear it on your back, and when you need it, you can take the ember out of there and put it into your fire source and then put it back inside your Apache match, and you'll be good to go. They can be kind of hard to wheedle together, though. It's a tough device to construct one without a little bit of practice. It's kind of like starting a friction fire. It's a lot harder than it looks unless you've practiced it a ton. And even then, people that make friction fires by practicing it a ton still sometimes fail to get that thing lit. It's just the way that it goes. All right, so we've got a little bit more firewood. I don't know how many hours of firewood this is going to give me, but I do like how the pile of wood inside of there is getting a little bit larger each time I add. Cool. It also wants me to strip leaves off these boughs, so I think we can do that. We'll strip some of the nettles off here. I'm guessing maybe we're going to use the nettles as some kind of yeah, it's used as a fuel. Okay, it's a tinder. That right there is kindling. Two things are distinct, kindling and tinder. And so we need tinder and we need kindling inside of here, but we have both those, so we should be all right. I don't know how many tinders I have to put in. It's probably going to increase my chances of lighting it, and then kindling is going to be the larger material. That's the difference between tinder and kindling. They're both flammable, but tinder is like the smallest version of something flammable that you use just to coax to life the smallest licks of a flame, whereas kindling is the larger stuff you put on top of the tinder to get it going, but it's not quite a log yet because you don't have a flame source that's going to make that happen. It looks like we get about an hour per log, which seems accurate. I'm going to ignite it. Let's get this thing going. We're going to have to track down a food source pretty soon, too. But it may be difficult in this environment. And it looks like they give us a convenient little speed-up time option for when we're doing something that takes more time than you want to sit there to watch, too. I like that. Good. All right, so the campfire has been lit, and now we're good to go. They want me to use a small stone to hammer a large stone into a bowl. I can do that. There's a search over here. Let's go with bowl. And it looks like we can make a stone bowl right here, but I need a small stone for that, and I used up all of mine for the campfire. Luckily, this place is littered with tiny stones that we can make use of, so it looks like we're going to be doing some kind of flint napping here, which I'm a big fan of. God, I love survivalist stuff, dude. There was a time in my life where I spent an inordinate amount of time just reading books by, like, Cody Lundin and Les Stroud, and it was when I was a geologist and I was doing surveys and whatnot and going out into the wilderness for weeks at a time, just like me and a couple other guys, like, doing random mapping tasks and stuff like that. And there's lots of extra free time that you get around the fire once the sun starts to get low. You can't really work anymore. There you go. Fill that up from the river. Is that dirty water? That is dirty water. So I'm going to have to boil it, I think. So we've got a stone bowl right here with 24 water in it. It looks like it's got some kind of diseases or giardia in it. So we can take this and we can just boil that water. It's going to take 14 minutes, so we might as well get busy on another tree over here to get ourselves a little bit more fuel before we get ourselves settled on in. A couple more logs back to the fire so that we've got ourselves a fire source all night. And does our water boil off if it stays on top of here? I'm curious about that. I may just watch it for a second and see if it loses water value if we leave it on the fire right there. That'd be a great little detail. Doesn't look like it does, but I didn't particularly... Oh, they're emptied if I place them in that slot. All right, drink it all then. We'll just drink it right now. 140 milliliters should be... That's like a good little glass of water. It's not like a lot, but it's something. And now we can get our bowl back, and I'm going to work on our hydration because in situations like this, you got to hydrate or you got to dihydrate. We'll put that in my offhand, and then we'll fill that with the water right there. I do like how you get to dictate what hand everything goes into as well. Let's go back over here, and we'll get this guy going. Boil that off for me, would you? And then let me go get some more firewood real fast because you're going to go through firewood shockingly quickly in a situation like this, especially if you're trying to create like a perpetual fire, which I think is a really good idea. Just having a fire and keeping it lit permanently can be a difficult thing to do, and it uses up a lot of resources during your day-to-day survival grind. But it does eliminate accidents like freezing to death, always making sure that you have fire, so... Can I just throw the whole log in the fire? Like, throw another log on the fire. Cook us up some bacon and some beans. It looks like you can, so I don't even know why I'm chopping firewood here. No, just pick it up. Left control. There we go. Just pick it up and throw it in there. Get this thing raging. You do get less fire time out of it, though. You only get like an hour and like a couple minutes per log. If you chop it into firewood, you get 2 hours out of it. So I guess it's kind of like debatable whether or not that's worth the effort. But we've got a 500 Celsius fire running right now. It's pretty hot and toasty. But we need to get this water finished off because you can live a long time without food, but water's a problem. Drink all that water up real quick and get that meter topped off since I don't know what we're going to be going up against for the rest of our run here. And since we live next to a river, hopefully it doesn't overflow or wash out the cut bank or anything else like that, we should be all right. They want me to make rabbit snares now. That's a really good idea. So with a rabbit snare, we're going to need dogbane stems. Luckily, I spied a whole bunch of dogbane around here while I was walking around. So we'll grab a couple of dogbanes and we'll see if we can put this thing all together. There's also blueberries over here that we can just freehand gather from. That may be better for snacking, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that up real fast and kind of like see where that leaves me. Looks like we got a little handful of blackberries. It looks like it raises our plague level, though, so there's some kind of illness or sickness on top of the blueberries. It's a little contaminated. I don't know if we have to cook it first. We can... So it looks like we can render down the berries over the fire into like a berry juice that still gives us a little bit of hydration. Unfortunately, I'm running out of inventory space here, so I think I'm going to have to make like a little pile of just stuff nearby. And then this right here, let's go ahead and place our bedroll on the flattest bit of ground that I possibly can. Yeah, I'd say just get us right up next to the water right there where the water made everything all flat. Hopefully it doesn't run up into our toesies and give us the plague or anything. But it'll do for now. Our sleep meter's not looking incredibly great. I'm going to need some more dogwood stems, I think. And the reason for that being is because when it comes to snaring, snaring is basically you making a luck roll against the universe. You can modify things in your favor for sure, by finding little things like rabbit trails and whatnot that are frequently traveled, especially if you can find fresh tracks on there and like baiting and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, snaring always works best in volume. Like, snaring is one of those things where you don't put out one rabbit snare and hope for the best. You're going to want to place like 20 or 30 rabbit snares. This is going to be like a big task as you effectively setting up a snared game trail. So that you're frequently getting food out of there, because each snare is going to give you like a bare minimum chance to get a rabbit. And each one you put out, just by volume, increases your chances that they're going to slip on into it and get themselves, hanged. And so, all right, so we've got these things. I need to make a plant rope, so let's do that. The only downside here is when you're doing mass crafting, it doesn't look like I can set up multiple orders and tell them to work on it until we run out of this stuff. I would like to do maximum, or just have like a little option right here where you could designate how many of these tasks you want to do in a row. However, given the situation that we're in, it's never a bad idea to have a lot of cordage. And somehow I doubt my man has a lanyard ring on him, so cordage is going to be helpful. It's how we affix just about everything. Fasteners. We've got that. I've also got garlic cloves over here, and I love this search. This search has a couple of cool features to it where you can just search for what you're looking for, but another cool thing that it does is that inside of here, when you look at other tasks, occasionally, so for example with the berry juice, you can mouse over this right here, and it will tell you items that you have potentially that can be used to finish off this craft, which is awesome. That's great. We do have a little bit of garlic cloves over here. We can plant them, but we can't eat them. So eating straight garlic is not going to be an option, and that does sound fairly unpleasant. And I'm a big garlic fan, so like for me to say it, you know that it's true. When it comes to berry juice, how do I get berry juice put together? Let's figure out the berry juice first and foremost. So I'm going to fill up my water over here and head it back on over to the fire. We've got a cooking surface, and it looks like I can just crush up the berries inside of the bowl from here. However, after crushing up the berries, it doesn't actually look like, maybe it's because I had water inside of there first, but it said it required 10 milliliters of water, maybe? I don't know. I'm going to have to play around with the berries. I'm going to have to play around with the berries and figure out how they all work. There should be a bunch of twigs and sticks over here. I'm just going to throw them in the fire. However, boughs and twigs and all that kind of stuff don't seem to add much time to it. So we'll do the best we can with what we have for right now. The other thing that I needed to do is I needed to find some sticks around. And we're going to make those snares because I feel much better, and there should be sticks like all over the place over here. Because I would like to get these snares done before too long. So we've mostly got branches. I can strip the branches. That'll be okay. Grab the pine branches. Yeah, there we go. Grab all them pine branches. Do I have room for that extra stick? I do. All right. Oh, no, we don't, actually. They're all going into my offhand. All right. We need to make a stick. We need to strip all the leaves off these bad boys. Oh, you can queue them. You can do multi-craft. You just got to click more times. Okay, so never mind. I take back my observation. That's good. Let's get these snares up and set. I don't know what hour of day rabbits are active. That is a piece of information that I am not aware of. I'm guessing probably dusk and dawn would be my best guess. Where I live at, you don't really eat the rabbits. Where I live, all of the rabbits are jackrabbits, and so they're not good for eating. Jackrabbits are real, I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, but jackrabbits are real wiry. Not you gotta stew it, basically. That's the only way to get down on a jackrabbit is you gotta stew that bad boy. So with a couple of rabbit snares ready to go, we're gonna want to place these where we see rabbits. I saw rabbits wandering around in this area, over on this side, like this little thicket over here. And so, well, it's not really a thicket, I guess. This little clearing is where I saw rabbits, though. And so maybe we'll put one, like, right here. And then we'll go up this way. Normally when you're planting these things on the ground, too, you sort of want to, like, disguise your scent. Or, like, not walk on the trail, but I'm not going to get too picky about it. Maybe we'll place one right here on this little rise, too. Alright, so we've got active rabbit snares. It doesn't look like I can bait them or anything. So we'll just kind of, like, leave those to function. There's a rabbit right there. Well, we placed it in the right spot, man. There's definitely rabbits around. We'll see if we get ourselves a coney in the morning. Yeah, so I got the berries figured out, by the way, while we're waiting for a rabbit to get trapped up in our snare, which may or may not happen. It's not a reliable food source in real life. It may be a little bit more reliable just due to gamification. I've got a lot of berries that I can mush up inside of here, though, and that'll give us some bare minimum. That'll give us at least. Oh, we can ferment it, too? Cool stuff, man. It's got like a little tag right there that says you can ferment this. So we can make ourselves a little bit of that old blueberry wine as well, just in case we're trying to get a little bit, a little bit warmed up. So now that I got a big old cup of berry juice on the side here, hopefully it gives us some form of nutrition. Do I got to cook it? Doesn't look like I need to cook it. I guess we can just drink all, and hopefully it does something for me. It didn't help out with our hunger, so the berry juice is unfortunately not going to be the solution to the problem that we need for right now. It was worth a try. We gave it a shot. Trial and error is a thing. Hey, our snare got something. Good for us, man. Yeah, finish that thing off. Sorry, squeakers. It's not your day. Looks like we've got a harvest off of him now. That's pretty cool. So we've got ourselves the raw rabbit meat right there. We've got a rabbit hide. We've got animal fat, and it looks like we've got a little bit of like offal right there as well. Go ahead and, yeah, cue that stuff up. We used the whole buffalo. The rabbit will not have died in vain. Do I need to reset the snare? It looks like it just reactivates itself. With that taken care of, it looks like we got ourselves dinner, so that's pretty sick. I like eating. Eating is good. Can I put garlic in there with it, too? Will that help? A cooking surface is needed. Can I do it inside of a bowl? Can't cook anything useful here. That'll make us like a full-on rabbit, though. It's a little contaminated. I don't know what that's gonna do. Can I throw that in there? That doesn't do anything. Okay. Yeah, cook it up. So we got like 18 minutes. Seems like a decent time for me to go fell a tree and bring back some more fuel. I'm a little bit worried our fire is going to go out overnight, and having to friction light a fire is just my nightmare. I would rather not, so like let's take care of business. Your tools do appear to have a little bit of durability to them, but I took a look around through the UI, and it looks like you can find like whetstones and sharpening stones in order to keep your tools working along. And so it seems like the game is mostly focused on realism. I don't even know if we're going to be fighting against monsters or anything else inside of this game. Like they've mentioned that there's a plague going around, which is why there's fart gas all over the place. But I haven't really seen any antagonists so far, but that doesn't mean they don't exist out there. Like, we do have knives, we do have axes, and I've seen other things in the crafting menu that lead me to believe maybe there may be some kind of threat that we've got to deal with, but it's hard to say for right now. Alright, we are exhausted, but the tree is down. Get that big old thick log over there. What's that going to do to me? It says I'm overweight, so your stamina is depleting faster. That's my energy, that's my stamina right there. I don't think it matters. I think we're okay, dude. I'm a big, muscly man. Throw that in there. Thick log gave us 3 hours. Okay, that's what's popping. Over here, I've got this little menu where I can, like, lie down. Does that make my energy or my stamina come back faster if I just, like, chill for a second? Oh, it's actually like me going to sleep. All right, well, let's not do that then. I've still got tasks that I need to accomplish for the day. How long did that take versus, like, where's my food at, dude? I don't want to burn this rabbit. We actually got that right on time. All right, so we've got our rabbit right there. It's going to give us 39 sustenance. I'm going to go ahead and eat it. And that did hit us with a big solid meter, but we did catch a little bit of the blight from it. So we're going to have to figure out a way to forestall that as well. Sunrise, or I guess sunset, is in a couple of hours. So we're going to have to, like, figure that out. But I've still got, like, thick logs over here, I think. They want me to build a charcoal pile, so we're actually going to be making charcoal here, which is similar to making char cloth. All you're really trying to do in this situation is you're trying to get, like, the wood oils and the wood gases that exist inside of there. If you can do it in an anoxic environment where it's technically burning but the gas can't escape, what ends up happening is it soaks the log or it soaks the piece of cloth, and I've done this before because it makes lighting fires easier if you don't have, like, a lighter, and you're just trying to do, like, a friction fire. I've done it with a piece of cloth inside of a Altoids container. You make an Altoids container, you punch, like, 1 or 2 little tiny holes in it, and then you fill it with cloth, just random cloth that you have on you, and then you put it on top of the fire for a while, and it'll make char cloth with the chemicals and things that are inside the cloth. And then that cloth will burst into flames the second that it touches fire, which is useful for obvious reasons. Unfortunately, we need a lot more sticks to make that work, so I think I'll just lay down in bed for right now. We've got 10 hours of fire rocking for us, and so we need to sleep for about 8 hours. Okay, that'll give us just enough time, man. Just enough time. Does your blight ever go down, or are we going to have to use curatives to get rid of that? Okay, the blight is continuing to spread. Well, that's foreboding. Don't like that. It's not clear where the blight came from or how it spread so quickly. Your village, Barnsley, is a wasteland, and it doesn't look like any other parts of civilization in the barony of Shimmerford have fared any different. You'll need to figure out some kind of way to minimize or eliminate the effects of the blight if you have any hope of surviving in the long run. Okay, so we need to be on the lookout for clues about a potential anti-blight serum. You've heard whispers of druids in far-off lands that know how to combat it. Stories talk about healing serums and fantastical elixirs that supposedly cure one's affliction entirely. If those tales are true, then there may be hope for humanity still. You do know that there are a few hermits and occultists taking shelter in the secluded wilderness around your village before the blight. Maybe they may know the druids if they are still active. Okay. All right. I guess the first thing we should probably do in the morning is just check our snares. Like, check our traps real fast to see what that's got going for us. Left control and left mouse button collect dirt. I do need dirt. I don't know how much dirt I need, but I need some serious dirt to make that little charcoal kiln. And that's the next thing that it has, like, up on my list of stuff to do. So let's get our hands dirty and do some rough work here. And it looks like we've got enough right there. We just needed 2,000, I guess, grams in order to get it done. We need some sticks and we need some firewood, but I think I should be able to make that happen. We've got our sticks. Now I just got to go back and collect my firewood over here. None of our traps really had anything inside of it, which is a little bit of a bummer. But that's the way life goes sometimes. That's the downside to that. Right there is the absolute downside to relying on snares in order to subsist. Charcoal burners typically live down by the river, so we'll put this down here. And let's put a little bit of time into it and get this thing mashed out. Having access to coal, I think, is going to be a big come-up. If we can refine coal, we can get a burning fire that lasts longer and burns hotter. So that'll be good. We need tinder. We need kindling over here. I don't have any small sticks on me, but it looks like that'll give us charcoal, and that gives us a much higher heat Celsius. Yeah, that's going to be the good stuff right there. Now that I've got the materials, we should be able to throw some tinder in there. We should be able to throw some kindling in there. And I guess ignite it, and we'll just see how it runs. I don't know if I got to put anything else inside of there in order to get the charcoal. But hey, it's running, and it'll give us 15 charcoal pieces right there, so we got that done. It wants me to make mud as well. I don't think I've seen clay around anywhere, but then again, I haven't really crossed the river or done anything too rowdy either. Hopefully we get a rabbit pretty soon. That's what I'm really worried about. I'm like working like crazy right now, trying to get us into a situation where we're going to be all right. I'm going to throw the dirt on the ground. I don't think I need to carry around this much dirt. We'll worry about making mud a little bit later. I can always get more dirt. There's dirt everywhere. Can't really do a whole lot with we got rabbit leather right here, but we actually have to go through the full tannery process as well. Like, we're going to have to get tannins, and we're going to have to, my dad does taxidermy, and so it's a long process to make like a hide that's actually enjoyable. It feels good to the hand. It's a very, very difficult task. There's a lot of scraping. There's a lot of it's a really long process to tan a hide. We've got some liquid tallow over here. I guess I'll empty it out for right now. I know where I get tallow from now, so that's perfectly fine. But we are going to need the tallow, and we're going to need some tannins and some other stuff in order to make the hide right there. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. We need to collect mud so that we can do basic metal working. What are they kind of aiming me towards here? We can get a tanning frame going, but we've got to be able to soak in a saltwater solution first before we can do that. We can also make clay bricks out of mud mortar. Okay, so that's why it wanted me to collect that right there. Let's focus on the tanning frame first, because that's going bad inside of our inventory right now if we don't get on top of it. So I'm going to get on out here, and we're going to strip down some pine branches, and hopefully, I don't know why he keeps putting those in his offhand instead of just putting them in his backpack. But we'll get some pine branches. We'll spend some time stripping these down for like twigs and other stuff, and then we'll see what we want to do from there. Oh, we got ourselves another rabbit. There we go. All right. Well, our survival is insured for the next little bit. I didn't really want to pick up the snare. I wanted to pick up the rabbit, but we'll queue up the harvests over here. There's some kind of pig creature over here. But he doesn't look angry. Yeah, there's a boar. Luckily, he doesn't seem to be like a war boar, like most boars where I live, where they're just like built for conflict. I think we should move the other snare over here. This area has been really fortuitous for trapping, and this one over here, it has not escaped my notice that this snare has not caught a damn thing in 2 days, and so we'll pick this guy up, and this is kind of how snaring works. You reallocate the snares to the areas that are the most productive, thus hoping that you'll get like multiple rabbits in a day or whatever, and that's when you're really living the good life. You still have to worry about rabbit starvation and whatnot. If you're going to be eating nothing but rabbits, I highly recommend you eat the brains and the eyes. That's a little Les Stroud tip right there, because rabbit starvation is a very real thing. If your body has to process too much protein and that's the only thing that you're eating, it can give you almost like this flu, basically, because your brain is not getting enough fat and it's not getting enough stuff to go along with that protein in order for your body to rebuild itself properly. We got coyotes, huh? We got some coyotes over here. Coyotes, dude. The infinite nuisance. Let's get our rabbit cooking up, too. We're looking a little bit hungry, and then we'll go for some water gathering real quick once we're done with that. But, ooh, another dogbane stem right there, huh? I can always use some more dogbane, dude. I'm always low on lashings. think I'm also going to have to chop down some more trees just so we can get those long sticks so that we can make the tanning rack. But so far, I'm really happy with this. This is actually a type of game that I would dump insane hours into because it's a game that I've been hoping would exist for a very, very long time. Like, it just is. Like, this is one of those things that I've always wanted, something that was hyper-realistic, Unreal World style, building one little thing at a time, barely eking out survival day after day. But I wanted it in a real-time environment. I wanted it in a game. There's no long sticks coming out of these, are these? I'm going to have to find long sticks elsewhere. But I've always wanted this sort of game where it's really just sort of an update to Unreal World. So it's not a turn-based roguelike anymore. It's an actual real-time game where it's man against nature. Those always tend to be my favorite survival games. Like, I don't mind if there's antagonism. Like, I saw some throwing spears and some other stuff that we can get probably for taking down larger prey as we get further on into the game. But I do like it very, very much when games explore just man versus nature. And it's clear that whoever made this game has gone down the rabbit hole looking up survival techniques and how things are built. Like, you can almost see this guy, like, measuring things in his backyard, being like, all right, well, how many of these long sticks would I need if I was actually trying to put together a tanning rack or something like that? I need 2 more sticks. All right, we need 2 more long sticks. It's going to take us off the trail a little bit, but maybe we'll find something. What kind of tree is that? Like a maple or like an oak or something? Everything else around here is kind of evergreen, so that one sort of stands out to me. Got long sticks hiding in the brush over here, though. Could do that. Another rabbit on that side. No, don't chop down the bush. I don't care about chopping down the bush. There we go. We'll grab that and all the way back. Oh, yeah, there's a coyote over there. Have you ever had the particular pleasure of being like 2 hours from the nearest village, like 3 hours from the nearest city, and like you're sleeping inside your tent and all you can hear is coyotes? Man, it is deafening. Coyotes are real loud when they score a kill. It echoes throughout the entire desert, and you would swear to God they're inside your camp right now. But then you like sort of tentatively peek outside of your tent with like your pistol or whatever, because, you know, you're out in the wilderness. You should always be armed when you're out there. Oh, a crow dropped off a letter. Interesting. Okay. I mean, you go and peek outside the flap of your tent, you know, with your gun. You've checked the chamber twice to make sure there's something in it, and then you look out and there's just nothing. And if you listen to the sound, you can tell that the coyotes are, it sounds like they're right there, but they're not, dude. They're like miles away, and that's how powerful their little coyote lungs are. When they score a kill, it is noisy. There's our tanning frame, so that's good. Let's get that all nice and mashed out. Tanning rack's done. I don't have a treated hide yet, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to treat a hide. I don't know if this is freshwater from what I can tell. Yeah, but can I go down to the ocean? Like, is this a lake or is this an ocean over here? Is this like an outflow? Is this brackish? Because I just need salt is really what I need. I think this whole thing is just river. So we're gonna have to figure out a salt solution out here too. I don't know if we're gonna find any wild salt around here. That would be a very real question for the ages. There's got to be an outcrop or something around here. It's got a little bit of it in it. But whether or not we could get that in any reasonable volumes, I suppose, would be the thing that I'm hung up on. We've seen a couple of larger stones over here that can maybe be mined. That's a sandstone boulder right there. Don't know what we're going to do with the sandstone. We've got lime over here. That's closer, but not quite what we're looking for. That's a separate thing. I don't know where we source salt from. I may have to go through actually my crafting menu. Let's do that. So inside my crafting menu, there's nothing for salt inside of items. There's nothing for salt inside of structures either. So we're going to have to figure out where that comes from. That's pretty much where we're at, is we're going to have to figure out roughly where we get salt from, which is going to be the tough part. Just got to wander a little bit, I think, and take a look around. But they weren't kidding about that blight spreading, dude. That blight is all over the place right now. It is definitely larger than it was yesterday. There's blight everywhere. Did I leave my rabbit on the fire? Oh, no, dude. Oh, we got a coyote that's going after our rabbit over there. That's going to be a big problem for us. We can't have other predators picking up all of our game, dude. That's an issue. Rabbit is not burned, so it's a miracle. Let's go ahead and eat the rabbit real quick. That'll get us filled up right there, and then I'm going to have to boil off some water as well, too. I kind of enjoy these little maintenance tasks that you do in games like this. Like, I find this to be enjoyable gameplay, although I'll totally get it. Like, it may be a little slow for some people. But I like it, dude. It's clunky in the way that realism is clunky, is the way that I would put it. Like, things like carrying a big log or whatever. Yeah, it's clunky carrying a big log around. It's clunky chopping down a tree. And the game captures that without the gameplay coming across as clunky, too, which I very much like. So they've captured sort of the essence of the task without infusing the gameplay with that same clunkiness. It feels really good compared to the last demo I played. I like it a lot. I'm looking forward to the release for sure. I don't really have too many complaints here. It's a man against nature story, and I like man against nature stories. Always have, always will. Oh, I can pick up multiple logs. Fantastic. So that's one of those things that I probably should have derived sooner. But we are very overweight right now. But my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were fooling around with a title called Blight the Last Plague, which seems to be a hardcore love letter to Long Dark style survival where your character is just trying to make it, and that's pretty much it. It seems like there's going to be some other elements they're going to fold on in here, but my initial observations about it are very, very positive. I'm excited about this. We have seen your smoke from afar, and we will meet you in 2 days. The game map also seems to be pretty big, dude. Like, it seems like they've got... I ran all the way down to this crossroads down here, and it was not a short run. So there's other little cities and stuff that we can go investigate once we've got that all lined up. That's a really unfortunate name for a city. Oh, look, Akron's over here. We're making our way to Ohio. I should probably go investigate Barnsley, too, but the whole place is covered in plague. Is there any ocean around here, like salt water? Oh, dude, if I have to go that far to get salt for curing this stuff, oh, that's going to be a mess. Definitely not looking forward to that sojourn. But we do have potable water over here, so let's go ahead and drink that all up. I will see you all tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet, but for today, I'm very, very happy with the game. I've only played for about an hour, but I could definitely see myself playing a lot more hours, and so I'm looking forward to the final release next month. I will be putting some time into it. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for hanging out, and that's about all I got for you. Bye, folks.